Hello, everybody. It's been really interesting for us today to hear all of the talks and how our work actually relates to what's going on in libraries. We obviously don't mix very much with librarians on a daily basis, but I think that it's really interesting to see the way that libraries are evolving to actively create connections between artists and to create new innovative projects like the one that we've been involved in this week. I'm Jules. I'm one of the artists from a group of 6 that form Bookscapes Collective. We were formerly the committee of Norfolk's only dedicated artist book fair, which was called Turn the Page, which was founded by myself with the assistance of a musician friend in 2012. Turn the Page was slightly different to many of the other UK artist book fairs. Instead of selling tables on a first-served basis, I decided to bring on board a different selection committee each year to ensure that there was a high standard of work and expertise. Our strapline was "Books, but not as you know them." This is a shot of one of our annual events. And we did have approximately 8,000 visitors over 2 days, most years. It was my aim to embrace book art in the broadest sense and to include fine press, sculpture, installation, digital and virtual books and performance. A bank of display cabinets formed the centre of the exhibition, and a headline artist was invited. Oh, sorry, that's fine. A headline artist was invited each year, with names such as Brian Detmer, Richard Long, Barbara Basinghoff gracing us with the presence of their amazing work. There were also hands-on workshops, poetry and live music, which are all in their own way connected to books, printing and the spoken word. Every year the event filled the forum's atrium with visitors, artists, writers, and had the feel of a festival full of life and creativity. It was at the 2022 event that I first met Jerry, who was hosting a talk alongside Raphael Klein, who was our headline artist that year. Following the event, Jerry made contact and said that Norwich was one of the cities being considered for the 2023 ARLIS conference, and asked if there was a possibility of Turn the Page being run alongside it. However, the timing of the request was 1 year too late. Because although Turn the Page proved to be a huge success, after the 2 years of COVID restrictions and 10 years of organising the event, myself and the committee felt it was time to move on to new ventures and had made the decision to form an offshoot artist group that could be more site-specific and focused. Bookscapes Collective was formed by the 6 of us to celebrate the book form and explore contemporary book arts through both a traditional and a fine art lens. We have a particular interest in working with museums, private collections, and at places of historic significance, and to bring together a variety of approaches to create immersive environments. Our first exhibition was held at the National Trust's Blickling Hall as part of their Trust New Art initiative, where we filled their loft galleries with a display of white books and new works made from researching the house and the people that occupied it through history, including the family of Anne Boleyn. Our next project took us to the old operating theatre in Herb Garret, which is located within St Thomas's Hospital in London. This was a wonderful, if slightly unnerving venue, containing all manner of gruesome instruments and endless stories of operations with no anaesthetic or hygiene, but also the use of medicinal plants, all of which we found fascinating. New work was made in response to the place, and we are currently fixing the dates for an exhibition planned for late this year. The 2023 ARLIS conference has brought us back to our Turn the Page home, and we've created a two-part exhibition to align with the conference theme. The first part of the display can be seen upstairs in the gallery, where you'll find a selection of books from the BooksOnBooks Collection. BooksOnBooks is a privately owned collection which has been catalogued and documented online. It's a non-profit making site which offers posts and reviews about book arts, the history and future of the book, acts of reading and looking and their relationship. It's an excellent blog. I would recommend it. We'd like to thank the curator of the collection, Robert Bolick, who's always been hugely supportive of Turn the Page and has promoted and brought exposure to many other artists, craftspeople and institutions. The pieces displayed upstairs were selected for their connection to neurodiversity, and we entitled it Repair and Repitition. The BooksOnBooks collection is accompanied by additional works from Bookscape artists. The title refers not just to the physical process of making, restoring and conserving books, but also to the making of art as an act of healing, recovery and meditation, how art can be mindful and provide a way through processing and coping with traumatic events such as the recent COVID pandemic. As a group, we're very interested in exploring the links between art and science and how they can complement each other by raising awareness. The second part of our exhibition will be based at the Museum of Norwich at the Bridewell, which is located in Bridewell Alley amongst the Norwich lanes and about 5 minutes walk from here. We all felt that to explore and interpret the theme of generative spaces by documenting the process of creativity from beginning to end and from an artist's perspective might be of interest to those that often only see completed works and not the thought processes or journey that has led to the finished object. The history of Norwich and its many industries are beautifully interpreted within the museum, and the building itself has a fascinating past from the year that it was built for a wealthy merchant in 1345 through to its days as a bridewell and to the present day its use as a museum. We were offered an exhibition space in the main building, but on discovering that there was an undercroft, we sought special permission to display our work in there, and I think you'll agree that it's a very evocative space. The collections themselves are so varied and interesting that it took time for us to focus down and begin our individual research. It's really interesting to hear about the research life cycles, the spark, and research, reflection and practice. All of these things tie in with what we've done here. The resulting one-day exhibition is called Light from the Dark and explores subjects such as the booming textile and shawl industries, the devastation of fire and the city's lost libraries, merchants and the trading of goods to Europe and the East, child labour, corporal punishment and the dark days of the Bridewell Prison. Around the museum, we've created our own version of movement slips, which are used where objects are placed elsewhere. These are at the sites in the museum at which we found the source of our new work. In addition, between 6 and 7 this evening, during the drinks reception in the gallery space, we've arranged a short performance surrounding a very special piece of work made by one of our artists, Karen Apps. The work's entitled We Begin Again. Karen describes it as a place of stories, a container of uncertainties and emotions slowly stitched and woven together over a 2-year period whilst receiving cancer treatment. The turning of the pages will be performed by 2 actors, Ruth Lynn and Audrey Vick from the Whitwell Players. Another activity for you on Tuesday will be the presence of Norwich Printing Museum, who will be in residence to offer some hands-on printing on an antique Jabez Francis press. The volunteers set and printed this year's programme by hand at the Printing Museum. Finally, just to say that although the Museum of Norwich is on your programme as an optional visit, we very much hope that you'll join us over there on Wednesday between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. to see what we've created. We'll be there to take you into the Undercroft space and to answer any questions you might have about the work. We hope you enjoy your visit to Norwich. As you'll no doubt discover, it's a city that has a long and interesting history with books and the printing industry, it being one of the first cities to establish a public library in the 19th century. And clearly that passion still thrives today. Thank you.